Above Earth, a fleet of sleek silver alien ships floated silently, their shapes glinting in the sunlight. Inside, the alien scientists stared at glowing screens filled with strange data about a small blue planet. They had traveled across galaxies, studying countless intelligent species. Every species followed patterns, rules, survival instincts. Every species, except humans. The aliens expected humans to be simple, easy to understand, primitive, predictable, nothing remarkable. But something unexpected caught their attention: food. The ships moved closer, hovering over cities and farmlands. Cameras zoomed into kitchens, street stalls, and dining tables. The aliens watched families preparing meals, children sharing snacks, friends laughing over desserts. At first, the aliens were confused. Humans boiled, fried, grilled, roasted, and even ate things raw. Some combined flavors that seemed impossible: sweet with spicy, bitter with sour, cold with hot. One alien tilted its head, unable to comprehend. "How can a species survive on such chaos?" it whispered to a colleague. The humans didn't follow any logical order. They chopped vegetables, sprinkled salt and sugar, mixed sauces with meat, sometimes ate food before it was cooked. Sometimes they added strange things they called spices just to make food taste stronger. And yet they kept eating, smiling, enjoying it. The aliens began to feel something they hadn't expected: curiosity. Why do humans do this? Why would they risk eating things that seem strange, even unsafe? Could these chaotic habits be a sign of intelligence, creativity, or something more dangerous? One alien analyst tapped on a screen, bringing up hundreds of hours of footage. Children tasting new snacks, adults experimenting with recipes, people gathering to eat together. "They are unpredictable," the analyst murmured, "but they survive, they adapt, they grow stronger." Outside the ships, Earth moved below them in slow, steady rotation. Cities glowed with lights, oceans shimmered under the sun, and tiny humans moved in patterns that seemed random but alive. The aliens watched a family picnic in a park. They laughed, they shouted, they traded bites of food, sometimes spilling drinks, sometimes dropping desserts, but still the joy on their faces was unmistakable. Another alien tilted its head. "This is not just eating. It is something else," it said. "We have studied survival, hunting, strategy, but this is new. This is clever. This is bold." The fleet hovered silently, observing the chaos below. They had not expected to be surprised by something as simple as food. But the more they watched, the more they realized humans were not ordinary. Their habits were wild, unpredictable, and somehow brilliant. A small alarm sounded in the ship. A report flashed across the main screen. Preliminary conclusion: human species may be far more dangerous than predicted. The aliens stared in disbelief. What were humans really capable of? Could something as ordinary as eating reveal a power even the galaxy hadn't yet measured? The alien fleet hovered silently above Earth, their silver ships reflecting the sunlight. Inside one of the smaller scout ships, a reconnaissance team prepared to descend. These were the first aliens to come close to a human in person. The alien fleet's data suggested humans were unpredictable, clever, and strange. Now it was time to see just how strange. The scout ship glided down, invisible to the humans below. They hovered over a green park where a small group of humans had gathered for a meal. Some sat on blankets, others on benches. Sandwiches, fruits, spicy sauces, and desserts were all spread across the grass. The humans laughed, argued playfully, and exchanged bites with no apparent order. One child fed a friend a slice of cake, while the friend handed back a piece of fruit. The aliens observed, fascinated. The humans seemed careless at first. Food spilled, drinks tipped, crumbs scattered. Yet the humans didn't panic. They continued eating, laughing louder with each new bite. It was chaotic, it was noisy, and yet, somehow, it worked. One alien reached out with a small probe to touch a slice of bread. Instantly, a wave of new data flooded its sensors. Flavors combined perfectly, textures balanced naturally. Even the spicy sauces heightened the taste without overpowering it. The alien's translator struggled to form words. How do they know? How can they mix things so well? Another alien tilted its head, watching a human dip fruit into a creamy dessert. It is not random, it said slowly. It is intentional. They learn, they experiment, they improve. The team took careful notes. Humans were not just eating to survive. Every choice seemed to involve a small trial, a small risk. One human tried a very spicy sauce and coughed violently, but then laughed and tried again with a grin. Another mixed bitter and sweet flavors and shared the creation with friends who eagerly accepted it. "Fascinating," murmured a third alien. "This is not just food. This is creativity, strategy. They test, they fail, they succeed, and they enjoy it." A wave of unease passed through the stout team. The humans below were small, fragile, and seemingly harmless, yet their unpredictability was unnerving. Could this same boldness apply to other aspects of their lives? Could humans, so clever with food, also be clever with technology, survival, and war? The aliens observed in silence, their sensors capturing every bite, every gesture, every laugh. Something was stirring in their minds, the realization that humans might be far more than what their size and appearance suggested. As the humans packed up their meal and walked away, the scouts remained hidden, recording data. One alien whispered nervously, "We are learning more than we expected. They are not just eating, they are adapting, inventing, thriving, and they do it with joy."
The aliens moved quietly among humans, invisible to their eyes. Their small scout devices hovered just above tables, ovens, and street stalls, recording every moment. For days, they observed humans preparing and eating food, and each day brought new surprises. In one kitchen, a mother stirred a bubbling pot of soup, while a child sneaked in a pinch of spice far stronger than the recipe called for. The child tasted it, coughed, laughed, and added even more. Nearby, an older sibling dipped cookies into a hot, bitter drink and declared it delicious. The aliens exchanged glances. Delicious? Bitter and hot? Outside, in a busy street, friends grilled meat over fire, sprinkling sauces and herbs in wild combinations. Some meat was charred, almost blackened, but the humans only cheered. Others tried strange snacks, sweet with salty, cold with hot, crunchy with soft, and shared bites with their friends. The scout team's lead alien scribbled notes rapidly. "They are like hunters, but with taste," it whispered. "They test, they fight, they risk discomfort just to find the best experience." The aliens noticed a pattern. Humans laughed at failure. They adapted. They tried again. One human accidentally burned a pancake and turned it into a dessert with syrup. Another mixed ice cream with salty pretzels and took a bite with wide-eyed delight. Even fermented foods, the aliens noted with surprise, were eaten proudly, sometimes with grimaces, sometimes with laughter. "This is chaos," said a junior scout, "but it is organized chaos. They experiment, learn, and share the results. It is not random, it is clever." As the days passed, the aliens observed families sharing meals. Children traded snacks with siblings, neighbors offered each other tastes, and strangers swapped bites of street food with no hesitation. The aliens couldn't stop recording. Humans were constantly pushing boundaries of flavor, texture, and risk, but in doing so, they built community, joy, and resilience.
One scout laughed softly, a sound of wonder more than amusement. They fight, they laugh, and even risk their health just to try new flavors, it said. And yet they survive, they thrive, they improve. The scouts began to realize the deeper truth. Food was more than survival. It was practice for creativity, risk-taking, and adaptability. The humans' unpredictable behavior, bold experimentation, and enjoyment of life, even in the smallest acts of eating, revealed a species that refused to be limited by rules or fear. By the end of the week, the aliens had hours of footage, thousands of data points, and endless questions. Each day confirmed the same conclusion. Humans were chaotic, humorous, wild, and brilliant. Even something as simple as a meal could teach them lessons in intelligence, courage, and strategy. The scouts left the park one evening, quietly returning to their ship. One alien murmured, almost to itself, "We thought we were studying food, but it is humans we are learning from." And in that moment, the aliens understood. The human species was not just surviving, it was inventing, thriving, and daring in ways the galaxy had never seen. The aliens returned to their ship, carrying samples of human food. At first, they were unsure how to begin. They had observed humans for days, seen their strange and chaotic eating habits, but now it was time to experience themselves. One by one, the scouts tried the meals. A human sandwich, layered with sauces, vegetables, and grilled meat, was their first experiment. The flavors exploded in ways their sensors had not predicted. Sweet, salty, spicy, and sour mixed together in perfect harmony. A simple bite sent their analytical systems into overload. Next, they tried street food. Fried snacks coated in sugar and spices, combined with creamy sauces and bitter drinks, created sensations the aliens had never imagined. Their translator buzzed. Unexpected variables detected. Sensory response exceeds logical prediction. One alien, the lead analyst, paused and looked at the others. "It is not just about taste," it said slowly. "They are learning, they experiment, they adapt. Every choice, every combination is a test. They survive, improve, and push boundaries without fear." The realization hit them hard. Humans were not merely eating to survive. They were using food to practice creativity, risk-taking, and adaptability. One scout touched a fermented fruit, expecting a harsh, bitter reaction. Instead, it tasted nuanced and bold. The scout's sensors recorded a unique response, delight mixed with surprise. Another alien murmured, "Their logic, it is different from ours. They do not follow strict rules. They break them, and yet they succeed." The suspense grew. Could their food habits be a clue to a larger truth? If humans could adapt and innovate with something as ordinary as eating, what other skills might they possess? Could this same boldness apply to technology, strategy, and survival? The aliens began scanning human cities, watching from orbit. At first glance, cities seemed chaotic. Traffic, noise, crowded streets, constant activity. But as they studied, a pattern emerged. Humans were thriving, not despite chaos, but because of it. They solved problems quickly, adapted to new challenges, and learned from failure. Their creativity and courage, displayed even in small acts like cooking and sharing meals, were a reflection of a species that refused to be limited by fear or predictability. One scout whispered, almost to itself, "We have studied countless species. None have evolved in such unpredictable ways. None have embraced risk with such intelligence and joy." The fleet remained in orbit, silent but awed. The aliens recorded every detail, their minds racing. Humans were small, seemingly fragile, and yet every observation pointed to the same truth. Their creativity, adaptability, and daring were extraordinary. They had mastered chaos, turning it into growth, survival, and even happiness. the revelations settled over the fleet. Humanity was more than they seemed. Their food, their experiments, their laughter and mistakes, all of it was a window into the mind of a species that might one day challenge the limits of the galaxy. As the scouts looked down on Earth, they realized something chilling and inspiring at the same time. Humanity was not just unpredictable. Humanity was unstoppable.
The alien fleet prepared to leave orbit around Earth. Their mission had been to observe, to study a species they believed would be simple and predictable. They had expected ordinary patterns, rigid survival instincts, and perhaps primitive intelligence. Instead, they found something entirely unexpected. The scouts gathered in the central chamber of the lead ship. Screens displayed footage from their entire observation mission. Families sharing meals, friends trading bites, children experimenting with spicy and sweet combinations, chefs testing daring recipes, and street vendors offering flavors no logic could predict. Every scene had been recorded, analyzed, and catalogued. One of the aliens, the lead analyst, leaned back and spoke slowly. "This species is wilder than expected. Their survival instincts, intelligence, and creativity are encoded even in the way they eat." Another nodded silently, awe reflected in its glowing eyes. For hours, the aliens reviewed their data. They had watched humans laugh, argue, share, and even fail, all while eating. Every mistake seemed to be part of a greater process, learning, adapting, experimenting. Humans did not just survive, they thrived in unpredictability. Their choices, chaotic as they seemed, revealed an instinct for growth and boldness the aliens had never seen. The fleet's report was finalized and transmitted back to their home system. "This species is wilder than expected. Their intelligence is evident in their creativity. Their adaptability is remarkable. Humanity is not to be underestimated. Their capacity to turn chaos into strength is unlike any other species we have studied." As the transmission completed, the ships began their departure, slowly leaving Earth behind. From orbit, the planet looked small and fragile, but vibrant. Cities glimmered with lights, rivers sparkled under the sun, and humans moved about their lives with a rhythm that seemed random at first glance, yet carried purpose and energy. The scouts watched a family in a park, sharing snacks and laughing together. A chef served a steaming dish to waiting customers, smiling at their delight. Children ran, stumbled, and tried again, tasting flavors with fearless curiosity. The aliens remained unseen, observers of a species that had no idea of the impression it had left. One scout whispered, almost reverently, "We studied their food, but it taught us more than we imagined." Another added, "Their unpredictability is not weakness, it is power. Their joy, their boldness, their curiosity, these define them." From space, Earth appeared alive with possibility. Humans were small, fragile, and fleeting, but their spirit was enormous. Every meal, every experiment, every laugh was proof that humanity refused limits. They had survived, adapted, and thrived in ways no alien could fully predict. The final message was clear, echoed in the minds of the alien fleet as they disappeared into the stars. Humanity is unpredictable. Humanity is unstoppable.
And with that, the alien ships left the solar system, carrying with them a new respect and a deep, enduring awe for a species that had turned something as simple as eating into a testament to ingenuity, resilience, and courage.